and Judy. It's such a delight to be with you today. When I woke up this morning, I think I woke up with a smile on my face because I was like, today is my double shot of happiness to finally meet Judy and Tim. Let's delve into a bit of a dream in terms of your journey. Like, it has just been extraordinary. I just, the laser Beak Man, the artworks, the travelling around the world, the TEDx talk, I don't know if either of you can really capture for me and for our audience, what that meant for you, what that journey's been like.
What's it been like for you, Tim?
Being a artist.
Yeah, what's it been like for you?
Doing a TEDx talk.
Yep. How do you feel doing all that stuff we've done?
I'm excited and I like it.
Yeah.
I think we still both pinch ourselves every day. We'll see a photo that we've kept or look at something and we think, did that really happen? It's just almost, we could never have made it up. To be really honest, Tim's life was extraordinarily difficult for him. And it wasn't a happy life, and it was very, very frustrating. He was upset all the time. And I was too, but he had to be twice as more because we didn't have a form of communication.
Yeah.
So everything that you and I would take for granted and take as a normal way of doing things, it just wasn't that way for Tim. And he didn't have the language. He couldn't point to what he wanted or shake or nod his head. There was just everything was within him not able to come out.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter what I tried, it didn't connect. And I felt like I had tried absolutely everything and I was so exasperated. And then one day, sometimes things are right in front of your face and you just can't see them. But remembering that Helen Keller story, what do you do when you can't speak, you can't see, and you can't hear? And you go, wait a minute, Tim can see. Yeah. So there is an option that we could try this. And to try it the first time and for it to work, I still get goosebumps.
Wow.
Thinking what a revelation it was and how life-changing it was.
Do you have that first drawing? Do you still have that first drawing?
I still have that first drawing. It's pinned up on the wall inside. I'll always have that first drawing, yeah.
Wow.
I drew for Tim, but it took Tim nearly a year before he started to draw.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't realise that.
He didn't like getting anything on his hands.
Oh.
So he was more keen to watch. But by doing that watching, he was also interacting, saying yes, no, or pointing. And then when he picked up the pencil and he finally drew, I thought, wow. Where'd that come from? It wasn't a squiggle. It was a proper drawing of an elephant. It was amazing.
And when Tim was 3 years old, I think was when you first had the diagnosis of autism, but certainly the language or what you were told at the time must have been so devastating as a parent. But find that in a child in Tim through art, incredible.
Yeah, that had to be the worst day of my life, and I've had a few. But, I was virtually being told I was told to put away my child and forget that I'd ever have him, that there was nothing that he can do. And how, it was almost like a death sentence. It was a terminal thing, that I didn't have the son. He'd never be my son. He could never love me. Everything that a mother wanted was that moment. I was told that was totally impossible. It wasn't going to happen. And to think that someone could say that about a 3-year-old child, and we all know that expression, it was like a knife going through my heart. But at that moment, you could physically feel that knife, and every word he said went in a little bit deeper.
I was also really inspired about your story about your removalists on the day that you had to move out. And I think that for me, I have to admit, I shared a tear or two, knowing many of the families and that we work with in terms of that being the case and being scared to move. But the way you talked about those removalists and their kindness really touched me. Can you express that on that day in terms of just them reaching out in that kind way?
That was a terrifying day. We'd been through so much and I was at the end of my tether. I had no strength left. I actually didn't leave for myself. I'd given up. I was too tired. I left for my children. Yeah. So it took everything I had just to kind of start to get the ball rolling. And we only had such a limited amount of time. And one of the things, Tim has autism, and one of the things with autism, he likes things to be the same way. And here I was packing up everything we had into garbage bags and moving everything. And Tim was just distressed beyond words. I cannot explain what it's like, and to see a little child of 3.5 so heartbroken, and there was nothing I could do to comfort him, and we had no help either. We were on our own with this. And I just realised at that point that he was so upset, I had to move things. There was no way I could stop. But if I kept doing it, I didn't know how far I was going to push Tim. And I just thought there's no point. And that was only one time. I imagined that we were going to face many, many times like that when Tim would be that upset. And I'd be on my own, and somehow I'd have to get the strength and the ability to help him. And I just thought at that moment, I can't do it anymore. And I gave up. You know, I'm not proud of it, but I actually gave up. So I sat down on the front steps and I said to the two, they're only young fellas, they're only in their early 20s, they're a pair of brothers. One had a pair of thongs on and they're lifting heavy things. They just started this new business together. And they were nice young fellas, they'd been polite, but I said to them, you can go now. We can't leave, this isn't going to happen. And the older brother just said to me, look, our mum was in the same boat. She got out. We turned out just fine. You can do it. And then he walked past me over the things that Tim didn't want moved, and they both just started taking things and loading the truck. If they hadn't have done that, I'm quite certain that I would not be here talking to you today, and they never would have made the changes to our life that they did. And all it took for them was to have the courage to say to a stranger, you can do it. Yeah. It's just one kind word.
So, Tim, I'm also I'm curious about Beak Man and this, world where we've got this, virus and we've been in isolation. I wonder what Beak Man thinks about the world now.
The world needs to be in a safe place or something.
Yeah, doesn't it? Do you think Beak Man's going to create another superhero to help us with the virus?
Yes, he will one day.
One day? Is he under construction?
Yeah, it is under construction, Margot.
Tim, how much do you love your mum?
I love her so much that she's a really good mother to me, Margot.
Oh, I bet she is.
You're welcome. And we're a good team, Margot, and we're nice to each other, Margot.
Always.